to Mitzi Perdue.
Hey, Mitzi!
Mitzi is an author and war correspondent. She has visited Ukraine 4 times since the full-scale invasion and recently returned from Ukraine, where she was a special guest of former U.S. Army General David Petraeus. Mitzi has published over 100 articles in major outlets such as the Wall Street Journal, USA Today, and Newsweek. She has appeared on more than 200 podcasts, often conducting interviews from bomb shelters in cities under attack. She is dedicated to promoting democracy, helping Ukraine achieve lasting freedom and prosperity. Please welcome to the stage to receive the award, Mitzi Perdue.
Hey, Mitzi!
What an extreme joy to be with all of you tonight. And I wanted to answer a question that people sometimes ask me. How come you got so involved in Ukraine? Because I'm not Ukrainian by birth. So what happened? What has caused me at my age, and it's so indiscreet to say this, but I'll go tell you all, I'm 83. But why would I choose to dedicate the rest of my life to doing everything I possibly can to help Ukraine? And I want to share that answer with you I'm on a diet of 3 minutes to tell you the story, but I'll give you a little clue ahead of time. How many people know what this is? Raise your hands if you know what it is. I see 1 hand. I see 2 hands, 3 hands. Oh, this is like an auction, 4 hands. We've got 4, we've got 5 anymore. Okay, what we are looking at it's a model, it's not a real one. It's a landmine. And it's something that there are schools that teach people how to clear mines. And this is one of the plastic models of what really realistically looks like one. Okay, how does that relate to why I'm dedicating the rest of my life to doing everything I possibly can to help Ukraine? Well, it began because I am a writer by trade, and in July of 2022, I wrote a story for Psychology Today. I regularly write for Psychology Today, and it was about human trafficking, and it was about how the trafficking cartels, the global trafficking cartels, they look for conflict areas, and then they swoop down. And Ukraine was at that point just a horrific victim of the cartels. I wrote about this. And for just a wonderful coincidence from my point of view, that story, it had in the title, the word Ukraine and the words human trafficking. Well, General Nebitov, head of police for Kyiv region, had written his master's thesis on human trafficking. And pretty soon, I have a Zoom call from General Nebitov inviting me to come to Ukraine and be his guest for 6 days. He said he had read my article and he liked it, bless him. But he said I should see for myself what it's really like. 10 days later, I'm in Ukraine. And so this is my first real contact with Ukraine. While I was there, the first few days there, we visited Bucha, and I am a writer by trade, and it was known that an American writer was in Bucha at a police station, and people would come to tell their stories to an American writer, which was incredibly moving to me to hear stories of war crime victims. And among the things, I told you that I would mention what this is about. While I was in Bucha, I saw some of the most beautiful children's playgrounds. They were empty. And I asked the police translator, Irina, I'm pronouncing it wrong, but let's just call her Irina. I asked, we've actually in Bucha, Irpin, several other cities, seen all these fantastic, I would say best in the world playgrounds for kids, and they're all empty. And she said that the Russian invaders made a practice of putting landmines. They look like leaves, so in the summer they're green, and in the winter they might be sort of brown and yellow, where you have a few leaves over them after a few seconds and you don't know they're there. And the goal of the invaders, one of these things has like 20 milligrams of explosives. That's enough not to kill a child, but to take the foot off. And why? What's that strategy all about? And Irina explained to me, and I've had it verified by many other sources, that the invaders, or the orcs as I learned to call them, that the invaders would much rather injure a child and keep their parents home, demoralized and unable to work or to fight. So, I mean, how much more evil can you get?
Yeah. Right. That's right.
But among the things that influenced my life was one of the women that I interviewed. She was a 14-year-old girl, and we're in a police station, and we're in Bucha. And she told me how she had watched the Russian invaders take out their machine guns. She was in a car with her parents, and Russians just sprayed her car with their machine guns and killed her mother and her father. And as she's telling me this story, and remember, we're in a police station, and it's me and a translator, and I'm listening to her, but since I write for Psychology Today, I'm a little bit attuned to what I was hearing. And first of all, there was a horrific, incredible story, but she was telling it in a complete monotone like this, and it was as if she was describing a third person. Well, I know enough about psychology to know that this woman, 14-year-old girl, was disassociating. She badly needed counseling, because if you have that particular issue, if you don't get counseling, what's in the future for you, very likely the odds are you're going to self-medicate with drugs or alcohol, or who knows what else, but the woman badly needed counseling. So I asked Irina, the translator, is she going to get help of some sort? Is she going to get counseling? Irina answered me, there are millions of children with the same problem. Well, not with the same problem, but with equally severe problems. There are no resources to help her. She's on her own. And that was the thing that just changed the course of my life, because I have a teeny tiny background in computer science, and I'm very, very interested in things like ChatGPT and how you can duplicate, if you're on the end of ChatGPT or some of the other bots that can duplicate human language, you can give people some remarkably helpful advice. And I'm now working with the American University Kyiv. They have 4 people who are working full-time on this to help provide, since there's no way in the whole world that you could get enough one-on-one counseling, which is what we'd like to do, we're going to try to help. The WHO says 15 million people in Ukraine right now need counseling of some sort, and since this is 2024, let's see what technology can do to help. And I want to end by saying what inspires me. Well, first of all of you do. And I'm absolutely blown away by Janice Hamilton and her professionalism and just how beautifully she does it. But what really inspires me, and this is a question John F. Kennedy said, man's reach exceeds his, I hope I've got this not backwards, man's grasp exceeds, now help me get it. Somebody help me with this. Grasp exceeds his reach, or reach exceeds his grasp. Whatever it is, you can try really hard for it, and you try and you don't know you're going to make it. And we now come to the quote that really influences me. It's from Mother Teresa, who said that the good that we can do, we must do, And I don't know if what I'm doing is going to have any impact of any sort, but I pledge to you that I will dedicate the rest of my life to combating the worst evil I've ever seen in my 83 years.